All right, Team Passion. Hello, hello. Welcome to our summer Monday night team calls. Super excited to have Brad with us this evening. So Brad and I go back a couple years, and he has a really great personality. I'm really excited. I know we gave his credentials on the team page today as a motivational speaker, and just really excited to share with you tonight about negative beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk, all that stuff that prevents us sometimes from moving our business forward. So super excited to have Brad with us. So Brad, take it away.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if that's coming through. Thumbs up all around. What is going on, everyone? Happy Monday night. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be here and to present to you guys. I want you to know that I don't take this opportunity lightly. And my goal tonight is just to give you just above and beyond value to help you master this thing, master your mindset, overcome all the negative self-talk that gets in the way of you becoming the leader, and more importantly, the person and spouse that deep down you're meant to be. So before we get started, just make sure your line's on mute so we don't get any feedback noise. If you're going to do the Instagram story thing, take the picture now, post it later, put the kids in a closet, whatever you have to do, just be present. I promise it'll be worth your time. And let's start with some participation, Team Passion. Type in the chat box, coming back from Summit, just super excited, coming back. What's a really big goal you have for the end of the year? What's something you want to achieve this year in 2019? Type that into the chat box right now. And as you're typing it in, there's a really cool thing about that goal. There's a way to do it. There's a recipe. There's a recipe to make it happen. And you know your basic business building activities. You know your 4 vital behaviors. You know your recipe. But something you might miss is that the way you go about using your ingredients in that recipe is what matters. So what does that mean? That means that you could invite 1 billion people, but if your mindset's off, you're gonna repel them like I used to. You're gonna repel them. You could have the best training for your team in the world, but if your mindset's off, they're not gonna do anything. In fact, how many of you guys have said, why is my business stuck? Sometime in the last year or two, or like, why aren't people joining my team, right? You're gonna learn why on this call. You could put hours and hours and hours into a support group for your clients, but if your mindset's off, they're gonna feel like a pawn that you're using. So my point is that what goes on up here in your mind, your mindset, your self-talk, is by far and above the most important piece of your business actually coming to fruition. And you've heard that before, right? How many of you have heard cliches like change your thinking, change your life from every personal growth book you've ever read, right? You've heard those cliches, right? But what does that mean? How do you actually do that? So it's not a cliche anymore, so you can actually make these changes to where it doesn't take a week or two to bounce back from challenge, but instead it's 3 minutes. Like, have you ever noticed when things don't go well, you kind of want to stay pissed off, or you kind of want to stay upset? And when someone tries to make you feel better, you're like, dude, shut up and go away. I don't have time for you right now, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? So how do we change that? So when things don't go well, which that'll happen, you bounce back really, really quickly. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So first, where does negative self-talk come from? Where do these limiting beliefs come from? I'm going to show you with a couple stories from my life where mine came from, and then I'm going to show you how I got over them, and then I'm going to give you 3 major tips so you don't have to face those limiting beliefs anymore in your life. So as I share this story, you might not be able to relate. That's totally cool, but just try your best. And if you don't relate, just see where in my life, in my past, is limiting me. So growing up, I had an emotional roller coaster of a childhood. And it gave me really messed up beliefs about how life was. And it screwed with my success, my belief in my own abilities. And I'm curious, type yes in the chat box if you can relate to the topic of money stress, whether past or present. Any point in your life, past or present, money stress. That was a huge, 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 huge limiting factor in my life for a very long time. I remember growing up, this is not hyperbole for this call, every day there was a fight about money in my family. Every day that I remember, screaming match, some form of, why'd you spend that much? Or we can't afford that. And I remember witnessing one screaming match. I was probably like 10 years old. And I go to my mom and I'm like, they're fighting about why the bank account's overdrawn. I remember going to my mom and being like, Mommy, why do you guys have to fight about stupid money? And, she's swearing at me, yelling at me, telling me to go away, don't need the opinion of a punk kid, like all this mean stuff. And my dad comes over with a soap dispenser. and starts pouring soap all over my mom, on her head, on her neck, down her back. And I remember thinking in that moment, like, whoa, money is a bad topic. Money is not good. And I remember from that point on, until I learned how to change it, I just hated money. I hated it because whenever it came up, it seemed like someone was about to get punched in the face. But that never happened, thank God. But my point is, I watched my dad work 90, 100-hour weeks to barely get by, and then screaming matches about money. I believe that money made you a bad person. I believe that it tore relationships apart. My reason for bringing this up is, for those of you guys that don't know, I was a Beachbody coach for 5 years. I built a 5-star business. I love everything about Beachbody, and it led me to what I'm truly meant to do in my life, which is help people master their mindset. And if it wasn't a conflict of interest and against compliance, I'd still be doing it. But that's the only reason why I'm not. So my point in bringing this up is because when I started my Beachbody business, I wanted the 5-star, the Million Club, all these things. I wanted those things, but money is bad. Do you see how that might create some internal conflict when I go after big goals, where I want to sprint 100 miles an hour in one direction, but there's chains around your ankles? You know what I'm talking about? That feeling? And on top of the money, I had a really tough relationship with my mom. And how many of you have a turbulent relationship with a family member in some way, shape, or form, past or present? Type yes if that's you. I had a really tough relationship with my mom, and I've forgiven her for all the pain in my past. I've forgiven her for all that stuff. That's a whole other topic for a different day. But I remember in those moments growing up, going through these challenges, I remember thinking, like, I didn't know who I had to be to feel worthy of mom's love. I didn't know if she wanted me to shut up and go away. I didn't know if she wanted me to be playful. I didn't know if she wanted me around. It was like walking on eggshells, and I would change who I was just to appease someone's pain. And so I grew up never knowing what I had to do to feel worthy of love. And I went through my life seeking validation, craving validation. And I would weasel my way into these groups of successful people and thought that my worth was dependent on how many successful people knew who I was. And it was demoralizing because my success in life was not matching their level, and I just felt down all the time. And so my point in bringing that up is that I never felt like I was enough. How many of you don't feel worthy of a goal or enough for a big goal that you're setting in your life in some way, shape, or form? That's where I was for a really long time. So when I started my Beachbody business, it'd be 7 years ago now, it didn't matter what I did. Like, I just always felt like I was stuck because I wanted to go after these big dreams, serve all these people, but I'm not enough. See how that might mess with me a little bit. So you might have a totally different story, and that's cool. But where can you relate? What limiting belief or beliefs do you have now because of something that happened years ago that you haven't changed the meaning of or forgiven yet? Because when you're little, or when you go through failure or trauma as an adult, doesn't matter. It's in those times that your belief about yourself and your ability starts to take shape. So when I started my business, it didn't matter how many people I invited. It didn't matter how many social media posts I put up. It didn't matter what trainings I created for my team. I just felt stuck. How many of you feel stuck in some way? It doesn't even need to be business. It can be any part of life. Just stuck in some way. When deep down you know you are meant for so much more than the results you're getting right now. And you feel that, but you just don't know why you're stuck. If that is you, take notes, be fully present, turn the Facebook Messenger off, and just be here, because I promise you this will give you some tools to break through that. So I had to figure out how to fix it. And I remember one day my bank account overdrafted again. I was $92,000 in student debt at the time. Bank account overdrafted again. And I remember just hitting this, no more. I am so sick and tired of too much month at the end of the money. I am so sick and tired of being less than I can really be. And I went on a journey of figuring out what was holding me back. And it led me to what I do now, helping people do the same thing. It led me to my program that I'll offer you guys at the end. That's how I changed my life. But the reason I tell you this is because when I tried to build a business, the overwhelming amount of negative self-talk and the lack of belief and the secret obstacles that I didn't even realize existed at the time stopped me. And like I talked about, I created a system for you to overcome that. We don't have time to go through that in 1 hour. But if you take this really seriously, you're going to learn 3 of the major steps that I took to exploding my life. So let's start with number 1. Write this down. Your thoughts are always the reason. Your thoughts are always the reason. What does that mean? Well, like the cliches say, the first thing you can do is change the way you think, right? But I'm talking about rewiring the natural way you respond to adversity, the natural way you respond to lack of spousal support, the natural way you respond to your business not going well, the natural way you respond to missing Success Club, rewiring your default setting. How do we do this? Well, first we need to understand where it comes from. So let's backtrack. Have you ever noticed you start to tell yourself stories, right? Like, money is bad. Building a team is hard. My teammates won't do anything. It's so much easier for Nicole or Keith or Bob. I'm not enough. And if you say that crap enough times, what happens? You start to believe it, don't you? So put this in your notes. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it's bullshit or not. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it's bullshit or not. Have you ever been with your friends over the years and to sound like cooler than you actually are, you exaggerate the details of a story to get more laughs or more attention or whatever it is? And you get the laughs, you get the attention. So you're reinforced. The next time you get back together with them, you exaggerate that story again. And then you find yourself 5 years into the future sharing this story, and you don't even know what part of that story is real. You know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy, right? The same thing happens with negative self-talk. Only instead of it being something funny that we can joke about, it sabotages your whole life. And this is your default setting, let's call it. And you'll go through life believing that. You'll believe all these BS stories about how you're not enough or too fat or not pretty enough or not smart enough or whatever it is. And that creates inner conflict. It changes the way you lead your life and your business and your marriage and everything. So if you ever feel like you're forcing your business or if you're stuck in some way in your business, it comes from your beliefs and how you're thinking, not from the actual truth, because no one is stuck. And so to change this, you have to believe that you're enough, obviously, before your business will ever say that you're enough. You have to believe that you're an amazing leader before teammates are ever going to come onto your team. And that's hard to do when the evidence of your business or life is not saying that. Or if it used to say that and doesn't say it anymore, which can be equally as challenging. So how do we change this? You change these beliefs by changing your questions. So put this in your notes. Better questions will change your entire life. Better questions will eliminate negative self-talk. Better questions will explode your business. Have you ever faced a point in your life where you're trying to convince yourself that you're good enough or deserve something great, but you don't actually believe it? Like you want to believe that you can do it, but you just don't. Like you do a vision board or a goal setting exercise, and you're looking at the vision board and you have the financial goal, the rank goal, the team goal, the marriage goal, whatever it is, and you're looking at the goals and you're like, that would be amazing. It would change everything for me. My entire life would be different if I accomplished that goal or got back to that goal. But when the second you set that goal, there's like that little voice back here that just like already knows you're going to fail, right? Like it already knows you're not going to make it happen. It's just whispering doubt and insignificance in your subconscious mind, right? 6 figures this year. Bullshit, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about? That little voice that just kind of lives back there. How do we change this? Well, we can't do it all in an hour, but here's a start. So first, what's thinking to begin with? Thinking is nothing more than the process of asking yourself a question. That's all thinking is, right? That's most thinking, I should say. That's what thinking is. Think about what you just did. You were thinking about thinking. That's what you were doing. So if you ask yourself bad questions, you get really bad answers. If you ask yourself great questions, you get great answers. A bad question would be, why am I stuck in my business? A great question would be, why can't I rank? Or a bad question would be, why can't I rank advance? A bad question would be, why don't I know enough people? Or why isn't my social media following big enough? Those would be bad questions. A great question would be, why am I worthy? Why am I successful? Why am I grateful today? Why is my marriage amazing? Whatever it is, those are great questions that lead to great answers. I just thought I had to work harder. And yeah, you got to work hard for your business, of course. But there comes a point where you're chugging along, and nothing's happening. And you're doing the things, right? So let's do an example in real life to show you what I mean. Look around the room you're in right now and count the number of things that you can find that are red. Ready, go. Count the number of things that you can find that are red. Look for red, count the things that are red, look for red. Dawn's shirt can count as red, look for 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 red, keep looking for red, look for red, look for red, count the things that are red. Why are you still staring at me? Look for red, 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 keep looking for red, look for red, look for red. Hold up your hands or type in that chat box. How many things you find that were red? What do we got? What do we got? We have 8, 4. You guys are all passing this, don't worry. 8, 4, what else we got? We got 10 or 9 from Stephanie, 5 from Felicia. Fantastic. But question, how many things did you find that were blue? No idea. Why? because you weren't freaking looking for blue. So check this out. Look around the room you're in right now and count all the things you can find that are blue. This is going to blow your mind. Look for that Beachbody blue everywhere. Ready, go. Look for blue. Look for blue, 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 look for blue. Some of your eyes are exploding. Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Keep looking for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Hold up your hands or type in the chat box. What do we got? How many more things did we find that were blue? What do we got? 10. Amazing. 7, 5 blue, 20. Didn't see it before, did you? So what does this prove? When you look for red, what do you not see? You don't see blue. And when you look for blue, you don't see red. Well, how does this apply to your life and your business? Well, when you focus on what you don't want, red, that's doubt, that's skepticism, that's pain. Those are limiting questions. Those are limiting beliefs. It's looking for what you don't want. Those thoughts will grow in your mind like weeds. In fact, it's actually natural for you to look for red. And if you look for red, what do you not see? You don't see blue, your dreams, what you want, the solution, the opportunity, right? So why is it natural? Jim Rohn has an amazing quote that says, stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds will grow automatically. What does that mean? That means unless you condition yourself to focus on blue, your dreams, the solution, what you want, you will automatically find red. And the reason is because your brain does not care if you're happy. Your brain doesn't care if you hit your goals. Your brain doesn't care if you hit elite or 2-star, whatever it is, or hit a certain income level. Your brain's primary function is to keep you alive. That's what your brain's job is to do. It's a survival mechanism. It's to protect you from pain. So at any moment in time, it's looking for what could go wrong, because millions of years ago, you weren't worried about sending an invite on Facebook. You were worried about the saber-toothed tiger hiding in the bushes that was going to eat your kid. That's what you were worried about. And you had to defend against that, right? It was actually very real. But we haven't evolved, so we have the same fear-based mechanism going on up here. So when you think about a big dream or a big goal, and you say, I'm going to be elite in my first year, your brain goes, what are you talking about? That could mean failure. That could mean rejection. Go for emerald instead. That's safer. So does that make sense? Have you guys ever done that before in your life? I have. Everyone has. So stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds will grow automatically. Because if you don't look for blue, what do you naturally find? Red. And when you look for red, what do you never see? Your dreams. You never find them. So let's do this as it applies to your business. Ask yourself this right now. Why am I not enough to build my business? Just try it. Doesn't taste very good, does it? Try it. Why am I not enough to build my business? How motivated do you feel when you ask yourself that question? Not very motivated at all, right? Even when you read positive thinking self-help books, it doesn't change the fact that you have that voice back there saying you're never going to do this. So I shared a couple stories a minute ago about where a couple of my limiting questions came from, right? Money being bad and I'm not enough. What are yours? Type yes. Let's get a yes chant going here. If you have ever asked yourself a questions like this, why isn't my team doing anything? Why can't I get it right? Why don't people want to join me? How come I don't know enough people? Why do I always mess it up? Why do I never catch a break? Why is it so much easier for my upline? Why can't I do anything right? Will I always be this stuck? And the list goes on and on and on. Those are limiting questions. And it feels really crappy to ask yourself that all the time, doesn't it? I bet it leads to a lot of pain, a lot of procrastination, and then you're looking at life frustrated with the results you're getting, and no matter how much someone tells you they believe in you, it doesn't change the fact that you have that voice in your head that says you're never going to do this, right? So let's break through it. When you set a goal, your dominant beliefs determine if that goal comes true. And setting goals is nothing more than the process of trying to create a new reality as opposed to your current reality. That's all goal setting is. That's all it is. The gap between where you are and where you want to be, so whether you're looking for red or looking for blue, that's it. And until that language is consistently and pretty much naturally blue, it's good, which by the way, I'll teach you how to do. Until that language is that way, it's going to be really tough to get to your goals. And even if you do magically achieve something, you're going to be miserable. I know this because I lived it. How many of you guys know that person that works their butt off and still isn't fulfilled or happy, or achieves elite and feels empty inside, or can't get themselves to do anything because they're fearful and scared, right? It's not a fun way to live. So let's use the same example. Why am I not enough to build my business? Try it again. Ask yourself that question. Why am I not enough to build my business? Ask yourself that. What does your brain do? notice that it looks. Doesn't it look? It looks for an answer. And even if you're successful, you start to question yourself. You look for the answer to that negative question. That's how insidious negative self-talk is. So we need to understand that our entire life will change by asking more empowering questions. Your brain is a Google search engine. It will answer whatever you type into that search bar. So what if you intentionally reverse it? If you're going to get an answer to whatever you type in, you might as well ask it a question that's going to lead to a better life. And if you don't ask it a question that's going to lead to a better life, what does it automatically find? Red. And when it finds red, what does it never see? Blue. So your brain's going to look. When you say, why am I not enough to build my business? What does your brain do? Finds all the reasons why it's so hard. So that's what you focus on. So you never find the answer to your biggest challenges. When you sit down to work, your brain is literally looking for why you're not capable. So you don't send invites, you scroll Facebook. You don't support clients. You wonder why more people aren't coming to you. You refresh your online office to see if your volume has grown or if another customer came in. And it's just stressful and heavy. And what's crazy is that there are amazing people and opportunities and solutions, Blue, that stumble across your life every day to learn, to grow, to change, to break through that roadblock. But if your software is running on why is it so hard, or why am I stuck, or why can't I get past this, self-sabotage steps in. You won't even notice all the blue around you. You won't even notice the incredible opportunity sitting right in front of you. And you won't even notice, for example, if you're in line at the grocery store, the mom that's standing behind you that has high cholesterol, that has no idea how she's going to get healthy, and you could literally save her life with Shakeology, but you have her freedom trapped in your mouth right now. You won't even notice her. You won't even notice that dad that lives next door that has no idea how he's going to pay for his kid's college education, and you have his freedom trapped in your mouth too. You won't even look because you're looking for red. I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm saying, but that's what happens when we look for red. We don't even notice the solution. But let's change it up, right? Try this. Why is it so easy to hit Success Club this month, or whatever your goal is this month, to rank advance this month? Why is it so easy to hit Success Club this month? What happens? Your brain still looks for an answer, doesn't it? You can go, oh, it's only 3 people. I'll ask John and Susie and Paul. And then I'll ask 10 more because I know that not everyone's going to say yes. And I'm going to look for the answer. You look for the people you could reach out to, the sacrifices you could make to build your business. Can you imagine what would happen if you flooded your mind with your dreams instead of looking for why you're stuck? Everything would be different. In fact, that's one of the main reasons people stay stuck in business. They look for what's wrong instead of what's right. They look for why they're stuck instead of the solution. They look for why they haven't been able to break through or sign those coaches instead of what they could do to sign coaches or enroll new people. Can you imagine if you flood your mind with this? You flood your mind with blue every day. And what's crazy is you don't even need to have the answer. You just need to live in a blue question that leads you to the life that you want. Because when you know what you want, the outcome and why you want it, the how will always reveal itself. Please remember that. You don't need to know how. The how will show up when you look for what you want. So live in an empowering question. Every problem you face is just an empowering question you haven't asked yourself yet. So for your life and your business, your homework coming out of here in 30 minutes, you're going to write down all the negative crap you ask yourself on a day-to-day basis. Not just your business, your whole life, marriage, business, finances, happiness, everything. Write down a list of all the disempowering questions you ask yourself. Actually do this. This is what I did to change my life. One of the ways. Write down all the negative questions that you habitually ask yourself. And you're going to flip them to their empowering alternative. So instead of why am I so broke, it's why am I so wealthy? Instead of why is my business stuck, it's why is my business exploding? Instead of why is my business stalled, it's why are there opportunities to find people everywhere? I'm just throwing stuff out there, guys. But the point is you flip it to its empowering alternative and you flood your mind with it. 2 questions changed my whole life. Number 1, why am I so kind to myself today? And number 2, why am I worthy of living an amazing life? Because guys, life will get 100% easier if you are just 1% nicer to yourself. 100% easier. Everything gets simpler. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take this list of these new blue questions and you're going to flood your mind with it. Because what happens if you don't? What does your brain automatically find? Red. And when it automatically finds red, that's right, Renee, red. I saw that pen go up. When it automatically finds red, what do you never see? Blue. Never see it. So You're going to flood your mind with it. I'm talking Post-it notes all over your house, your fridge, everywhere, alarms on your phone. My wife probably thought I was crazy because I literally recorded these questions on a voice recording with passion, with excitement, and I listened to them while I slept at night. Disclaimer, don't choke yourself with a headphone cord. But I listened to them while I slept at night, when I walked the dog, when I did the dishes. How many of you guys have kids? Raise your hand if you have kids. Awesome. What would happen if you had an alarm that went off on your phone 5 minutes before they either got home from school or woke up from a nap or got home from an activity or whatever it is, that said, why is it so easy to be a patient and loving mother today? How would everything change? How would you show up? Obviously easier said than done, but how would you show up? It'd be totally different, wouldn't it? Or how many of you guys are in a relationship or married? Raise your hand if you're in a relationship or married. Awesome. What would happen if you had an alarm that went off on your phone 5 minutes before your spouse got home or before you saw him or her that said, why is it so easy to fall in love with my spouse again today? Just saying. Everything will change from asking yourself empowering questions. By the way, I ask myself that question about my wife every day, and we have an amazing relationship. Amazing relationship. I highly recommend you add that one. So what we're going to do is flood our mind with this. We're watering these new blue thought seeds, and we're putting weed killer on that disempowering crap. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you look and your garden is blooming with so much blue and you're going, holy cow, and you feel alive again because of all the oxygen in the air. And when you feel alive again, guess what happens? People actually want to be part of your life. Hey, what's that challenge group you're doing? Hey, what's that business thing you're doing? Like, you know those people that just seem electric when you talk to them, that light up the room and they don't even have to say a damn word? What if you became that person? I'm not talking about introversion versus extroversion. I'm talking about the energy, the vibe you give out. What if you became that person? That's what's going to happen to your life, and you're going to attract business instead of fight for business. Is this one mindset strategy helpful? Think you can use this in your life and your business? I have two more for you guys. And Nicole, I might go like 5 over the hour if that's okay. 2 more for you guys. It's going to be really powerful. So number 2, write this down. Your problem is not the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. Your problem is not the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. What does that mean? When you are so emotionally attached to a goal coming true, or a business change, or a financial goal, or something with your spouse, or whatever it is, you're actually making that goal harder to achieve. Now, don't take this to mean that you shouldn't be excited or passionate about your goals. You absolutely should get your hopes up. You absolutely should get excited, pumped up, jazzed about your goals. Super excited, right? Great to do that. What I mean is, when your happiness is dependent on your goal, you are making that goal so hard to achieve. And chances are you're never going to do it. And even if you do it, you're going to feel miserable. How many of you have ever found yourself pushing so hard for a rank, to get your volume back to where it was, or to get to an entry rank, or whatever it is, any goal, and you're pushing so hard, and it seems like that goal is evading you, and you don't know why. And it's like it's just out of reach every time, and you can't seem to get there, but Johnny signed up 2 months ago, and he's already got it, right? And you go, what the heck's going on? It's because you are attached to your goals instead of committed to your goals. It's because you have a mindset of this must happen and then I can be happy. If you think that way before you get to your goal, you will not be happy when you get to your goal, because there's going to be a what's next, and then a what's next, and then a what's next. Whether you hit your goal or not, if you think that way, that your happiness is dependent, or you can feel fulfilled when you get to a goal, you are always toning down your self-worth. And it leads to self-sabotage. It leads to getting into a slump. It leads to compounding negative self-talk. And whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you'll what? You'll believe, even if it's not true. When you try to build a business that way, isn't it incredibly overwhelming and stressful all the time to try to solve that? How do you do it? It feels defeating, and sooner or later, your business becomes a chore, and you've lost the passion, the excitement, the enthrallment behind it, because you have no idea how to break through this. Remember, your challenges are an objective blue question. They are not responsible for your emotional well-being. Huge important note here. And this is the overarching focus of what I've taught to all of my clients, everything I teach in my course that I'll offer you guys in a little bit. It's the focus of everything I teach. And so important to understand because this is where my life changed. Business success and money do not cause happiness unless you're already happy. Business success and money do not cause happiness. Happiness causes business success and money. Happiness is how you get those things. Happiness and appreciation for the journey and the challenge is how you overcome the challenge. Most people don't get that. I didn't. It's why I stayed stuck for so damn long. You don't need to find the answer because the journey you're on is the answer. For me, I used to say I should be further along. I should be at that rank. I remember when I went to 5-star and dropped to diamond, I was like, I should be at 5-star right now. I should be at that place. I should be there. My income should be here. I was shooting all over myself and I couldn't get past it. And I just felt stuck and hopeless and down. And I was literally pushing away the lesson that was the key to my freedom. Do you ever wonder why Shaun T always says, if you want to lose weight, you have to love the body you have now? Ever wonder why he says that? Abundance 101. Loving where you are at now and also being excited about what you're going to create. That's abundance. You will not get to that next level unless you can fall in love with where you are now. Why would you hate the vessel that's the key to your freedom? It doesn't make sense, right? So we need to love where we're at now. And when we do that, all of a sudden, the lessons flow to us. We start to figure things out. It becomes easy to get to those goals because you actually have the solution. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn to live the life that you're meant to live. So seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. For so many people, they focus on what's wrong, why they're stuck, why their business isn't where it is, where they want it to be. And they're literally getting what they're asking for, right? They're focusing on that, and that's why their business is stuck. So seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. Step into the common sense corner. Whatever you believe is wonderful. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but if you believe in God, the universe, whatever you believe in, and you have person A and person B down on your creation, right? Person A is that person that focuses on what's wrong all the time. Person that gets pissed off when it rains, the person that is always focusing on why they're not enough or can't get back to their goal or whatever it is. And person B is that person that, even though they're challenged by a lot of things, they're just happy. This is that person that gets diagnosed with cancer and they are super excited about their life. This is the person going through a divorce and is grateful because they're closer to their kids, right? That's person B. So I'm just giving examples here, but if you're God, the universe, whatever you believe in, are you going to give more to the person that's complaining about having less? Or are you going to give more to the person that loves everything they already have? Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. Fall in love with where you're at and get excited about what's next, and that's when it happens. Does that make sense? And what's awesome about this one skill, guys, is it means you don't have to work nearly as hard for exponentially better results. Because instead of slamming down that gas pedal to get to your destination, death gripping the steering wheel, smoke's going everywhere, and you're not moving, and all these other cars are flying by you on the highway to success. Susie signed up last week, and she's already 2-star, right? Like that type of feeling. You don't know why you're there. You just feel stuck and hopeless. You realize the only thing that's keeping you stuck in that same spot is just that your emergency brake is on. That's it. You don't need to force it more. You don't need to push down harder more. You need to release the brake and get out of your own way. That's it. Most people will try to climb this big mountain of success. Like put your dream on top of a mountain for a second. Have you ever done that? I have, right? Put your dream on top of a mountain. And they say they'll be happy when they get to the top. The problem with that is it's the same thing as trying to climb a mountain with a blindfold on, because if you need to get there now and you're death gripping it, you're attached to it, what's going to happen? If that blindfold's on, you're going to step off the trail. You're going to try to find a way to sprint to the top. You're going to trip. You're going to fall. You're going to break an ankle. You're going to fall off a cliff and die. Who knows? Even if you do happen to get to the top, you're going to feel hollow and empty because you can't see any of the beauty around you. This is the elite coach that feels miserable. This is the person that gets Success Club 10 and feels like they haven't done enough. This is that person that craves to-do lists, and even when they finish them, isn't fulfilled. You know what I'm talking about? That's the feeling. But what happens if you just take that blindfold off and you decide to be committed to that peak, super committed to it? You're going there, but you're not so attached that your happiness depends on it. And you're going on this climb for the climb, not just the summit. Have you ever gone hiking out west? You know how it's twists and turns and ups and downs and peaks and valleys to finally get to the summit, right? When you're on that trail, do you ever doubt it's leading you to the top? No. You're always like, all right, cool, awesome, cool mountains, cool sheep, right? Like you see all this cool stuff. I don't know if they're sheep, right? But you get the point, right? You look at all this stuff and you're grateful for it. You're appreciating the climb. Even the downhill parts sometimes are nice because your legs get a little bit of a break. So if you take that blindfold off and you decide from now on tonight that you're going to do your vital behaviors for the growth you experience and the person you become and the lives you change, that's why you do them from now on, then even when that trail's going down away from the top, AKA a coach quits, volume is lower, you drop in rank, whatever it is, you learn something instead of hate something. And when you learn something instead of hate something, all of a sudden you get to the top so much faster, don't you? Because every part of that climb is beautiful. And that's guys, that's abundance 101. You hear that term thrown around in my industry all the time, but that's what it is loving wherever you're at, even if it's going downhill. And so think about the sets of emotions that come with those two groupings, right? That attached feeling, that death grip feeling. Type in the chat box when you need to get there now and your happiness is dependent on that peak and you're so rushed and stressed all the time. I obviously just said one. What emotions do you feel the most often in that state? What is it? Type in the chat box. What do we got? Stressed. What else? What else do we got? Type them in. Anxious. What else? Type it in, type it in, type it in. Frustrated. Yep, there we go, Nicole. Yeah, what else we got? Empty. Good. Great one. What else do we got, guys? Type them in. It's just mad. Yeah, Renee, great. That's a good example. But what happens if you become committed, super excited, pumped about that dream? Yes, Stephanie, that was a good one for the attachment. But super pumped about that dream, super excited about it, and super pumped to go hiking that day. Like enjoying it, having fun along the way. What emotions do you feel if that's how you live regularly? If you feel committed, not attached. What do we got? Passion. What else do we feel? Type in the chat box. Alive, fulfilled, excited, Felicia. Yes. What else do we got? Peace. Good, Kelly. Great. What else do we got? Gratitude, maybe? There's so many great ones, guys. There's happy. Yes. Amazing. So think about those two groupings of emotions. Pissed off, frustrated, upset, attached. Need to get there now. Death grip on that, right? Committed, following the trail, not getting pissed off where you are. Even if you're going downhill, you're enjoying it. If you are looking at those two sets of emotions, which of those two sets of emotions are you more likely to break out of being stuck from? Just saying. Which of those two sets of emotions are you more likely to solve a business challenge or make more money or have a great relationship from? Committed, not attached, right? So what if you let it go? What if you realize that Beachbody does not determine your happiness? It's a beautiful thing in your life. It's a wonderful thing that you should keep going and hustle and find a way to win. But it's not your whole life, right? Living this way makes success easier. So I can't get into the whole system of how to do that in 1 hour. But I can give you one final tip that makes living this way so much easier. You guys got time for one more? I call this the secret sauce. The secret sauce, number 3. The secret sauce. You might know this as genuine gratitude. Where are my eye rollers? Where are my eye rollers? Genuine gratitude. How many of you, if you're being totally honest, have made time to practice genuine gratitude on a day-to-day basis? Be totally honest. Guys, I'm telling you right now, gratitude is hands down the single biggest success tool you will ever use, ever. And if you don't believe me, you're about to believe me in a second. I'm gonna take you through an exercise that's really powerful. But by the way, I don't mean the bullshit gratitude either. And what's that? That's where you complain about what's going wrong all day long and then write 3 things in a journal to feel better. That's not gratitude, right? That is just complaining about the day and telling yourself it's okay. But if you feel those things, if you actually feel them inside and you're grateful for them, then all of a sudden you start attracting things into your life. And you're going to see this in just a second. So why is gratitude such an important skill? And by the way, I did not believe that for a very long time. When I first learned this, I rolled my eyes. I was like, dude, you're full of it, right? But I can tell you from being very unsuccessful to where I am now, it is true. Gratitude is the cure-all. That is what will help you so much in your business, in your life, because it is literally impossible to feel any disempowering emotion if you're deeply grateful. You cannot feel angry, anxious, depressed, sad, worthless, hopeless, resentful, envious, any of it if you are deeply grateful. And if you don't believe me, it's because you haven't practiced genuine gratitude. It's true, because pain in life is coming. There are things that are going to happen that will not go your way. Absolutely. Suffering from that pain, that's on you. That's your choice. Suffering is a choice. That's when you stay in that painful spot. I love, my favorite quote of all time is from Tony Robbins, and it says, trade your expectations for appreciations and your life changes in an instant. Trade your expectations for appreciations and your life changes in an instant. Why? Because if you're on that mountaintop and you're on that hill getting to the mountaintop and you're expecting to be there now and you're pissed off that you're not, remember, you're going to sprint up that hill. But if you appreciate the scenery around you, all of a sudden it becomes a great time, doesn't it? So it is impossible to feel pain when you're grateful. It's like trying to be sad and jumping up and down in the mirror naked at the same time. You cannot do both simultaneously. It does not work. So seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. Focusing on blue, everything changes. Gratitude, think about this. Gratitude is the ultimate blue. That's a good way to look at it. So one of the best ways to handle this or to think about gratitude is to have some perspective. We go through our lives, and I'm guilty of this too, thinking that we're so pissed off about where we're at and so frustrated with the results we're getting. But think about this right now. You're watching a video about mindset from anywhere in the world. US, UK, Canada, but literally you could be anywhere on a phone if you have a Wi-Fi connection. But you're probably at a desk or on a couch in a safe apartment or house with a lock on the door and windows. You probably are wondering what you might have for date night on Friday, or you probably have a doctor you can take your kids to get treated for medical care, or a vet. You can take your dog to get treated for hot spots on their arm. You probably make an income at the job you go to, or you're a stay-at-home mom, which is the hardest job of all. And you all these things you have going on, right? And you probably turn on your Apple TV later tonight and watch a movie, or maybe Breaking Bad or Marie Kondo's Tidying Up or whatever you're into. And all of that, most of us will take for granted when someone's going to kill themselves in the next 7 minutes. When there is a mother out there, picture your kids right now. There is a mother out there whose baby is not waking up tomorrow. There are people out there injecting needles into their arms to cope with pain. There are countries that live in communism. 2/3 of the world live on $900 a year, $2.50 a day. Can you imagine that? We're so accustomed to the miracles happening all around us every day that we don't even see them as miracles anymore. Most of us view miracles as scarce and don't appreciate how literally everything around you was once an idea. This water bottle, this Sharpie, everything was once an idea. This team was once an idea that this incredible woman had. That's all it was. It was an idea. It would be, that'd be cool if. That's all it was, which proves you can create miracles whenever you want to. We have the tendency to let go of gratitude and make it a rule that we can only be happy if something happens. If your spouse acts a certain way, if your business goes a certain way, if someone says yes, if your bank account's at a certain level, and I'm telling you, you are setting your life up to suffer. Because if you can take away anything from this entire talk, it's the following sentence. And until you live this regularly, it's going to be very hard to get ahead. Ready for it? It's so simple, but so profound. Nothing needs to happen in order for you to be happy. Nothing. Nothing. You're breathing. Isn't that enough? As long as you structure your life in a way where your happiness is dependent on something you don't control, you are literally asking to lose. You'll never be fulfilled. Even if you have success, you could be winning at life and feel like you're losing because the scorecard you're using to measure success is unfair because it only allows you to feel happy if something happens. And achievement without gratitude is total failure. You're breathing. You're alive. Isn't that enough to smile about? And guess what happens if you smile, guys? Business gets easier. Way easier. A lot of us have these high expectations of our spouse, our kids, our team, our volume, our sales, and when our life doesn't go the way we want it, we get frustrated because we're focusing on something we don't control to bring us happiness. Not a fun way to live. We gotta let that go. Gratitude is one of the many ways. I'll teach you many other ways in my program, but your view of life literally determines your future. So every single day, condition your mind to being grateful, and slowly the anxiety, the anger, the depression, the overwhelm, the fear, it's going to go away. It's like if you take a Shakeology cup and you put it in the sink and you run the water, right away it's mucky, right? What happens if you keep that water running? Clears up. Same thing will happen up here and especially in here. And you'll feel excited every day. You're talking to someone right now, and this is why I know I can relate to you if this is what you're going through. I went through a period of time for years in my life where I knew what I wanted so bad, but I find myself on the couch feeling sorry for myself, having these like bad days, like 3 or 4 days a week. And it was terrible. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I had all the tools to do it. And it was like I was going through the motions when I did it, but I rarely could get myself to act. And it was like my computer was staring at me going, dude, change your life. You have everything you need. But I couldn't get myself to act. And I didn't care, but I cared so much at the same time. And it was like I was in this endless perfection and guilt loop where I needed to do things perfectly. And if I didn't, I felt down and depressed and worthless. Then I felt guilty for feeling down, depressed, and worthless. So I had to be perfect again. It was like perfection, guilt, perfection, guilt, perfection, guilt, sadness, depression, sitting on the couch, wishing my life would change. And I just felt stuck. And I didn't know how to break through, and I felt so overwhelmed. And from practicing what I will teach you, it went away, totally away. It didn't happen right away. It went from 4 times a week to 1 time a week, then 1 time every 3 weeks, month, 6 months, year. And now I am actually this annoyingly happy on a regular basis. Like actually this annoyingly happy. And yes, there are still days once in a blue moon where I get the whole woe is me, down, depressed feeling. Everyone does. We're human. But I can get out of it in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. In fact, what I learned from my main mentor, Tony Robbins, is that you can solve most challenges in your life or find direction to those challenges in 3 minutes. So this is something I've learned from him. This is not my work. I took this from him. So credit where credit is due, but it's so powerful that I need to share it with you. So get somewhere in your house right now where you can be totally vulnerable. Totally emotional. There's no distractions. You're in a good spot where you can just do you. And if you know that you're not going to play all out doing this exercise, you won't feel all the things, turn your video off. Like seriously, turn your video off. Be fully present. Do this for you because these 5 minutes can change everything for you if you allow them to. If you allow them to. But if you don't play all out, this isn't going to do anything for you. Okay? It's going to be a waste of time. So get where you need to go to feel all the feels. And start to think of something in your life that's stressing you out right now on a scale of like 1 to 10, like a 7, 8, or 9. Just something that's really stressing you out. Maybe it's unfinished business. Maybe it's something that you need to say, a conversation you need to have. Maybe it's a financial challenge. Maybe it's a business challenge. Anything. Think of whatever it is that's stressing you out on a scale of 1 to 10, 7 or higher. You don't know the answer to it. You're just stressed about it. And just feel the weight of it for a second. Just kind of sucks, right? Raise your hand if you have your stressor, just so I know. Do you have your stressor? Okay. Shake your body out, sit up nice and tall, and close your eyes. And again, if you're not playing all out, it's not going to work. So find a way to play all out with me here. Shake your body out, sit up nice and tall, and take a deep breath in your nose, and exhale out your mouth. Another one, really big deep breath in your nose, and exhale out your mouth. Just trust me, take both your hands, physically put them on your heart for a moment. Physically put them there and leave them there the rest of this exercise. And as you breathe, breathe deep into your heart. Like actually imagine the air flowing in your nose, through your heart and back out your mouth. Another one, really big deep breath in your nose, through your heart and back out your mouth. Just feel your breath calming your mind and feel your heart beating in your chest right now. Feel the power of it, the strength of it, the beauty of it, the gift of it. Think about you didn't have to buy your heart. You didn't have to earn it. Something thought enough of you to give you this amazing gift of life the moment you were born. It beats 100,000 times a day, even when you sleep, without you having to do anything. You have inherent worth because this heart is beating in your chest right now. And just feel so grateful that you even get this gift of a life when some people don't. Take a moment and just feel so much appreciation for that for a second. Just love it, just cherish it, just appreciate it, just feel that right now. And now go back to a memory in your life. What's a memory in your life that you can feel such deep feelings of gratitude for? What's a really amazing memory? Could be 10 years ago, could be today, doesn't matter. Any memory that you can just step back into feeling so deeply grateful. Is it when you had your first baby? Is it when you said, I do? What's that moment for you? But instead of seeing that moment from the outside, Relive it. Step into that moment like you're actually there, seeing, witnessing through your own eyes. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt then now, like it's happening, feeling so grateful. And just cherish that. Just love it. And just feel that memory all over again. Relive it for a second. Just let yourself go there and relive it. And just say thank you for that memory and appreciate that memory and feel that gratitude in your heart right now. And when it's there and you feel it, breathe that memory into your heart right now. Feeling so grateful, so appreciative. This feeling's within you whenever you want. And now go to a second memory. What's another amazing memory in your life? Anytime, any age, any stage. Go back to that memory. Same thing, not from the outside. Relive it. See it all over again. Is it your wedding day? What's that moment for you? Relive it all over again. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt then now. Experience it all over again, feeling so grateful, just cherishing it, just loving it. And when you feel it and you can see it and you're in it, breathe that memory into your heart right now. Just feeling so happy, so grateful that you got to live that and take that in. And now go to a coincidence in your life, something that you didn't make it happen, but it happened. You were in line at Starbucks and you met the love of your life. You didn't mean to get pregnant. Now you have an amazing family. You got a message on Facebook and you're building your dreams. What's that coincidence for you that you didn't make happen, but it led to something amazing in your life that you value, that you cherish? It could even be a tough memory that led to something beautiful. What's that memory that led to something, a person, a career, an insight, a life change? And think of everything it led to and why you're so grateful for that in your life right now. Why is your life so amazing because of that beautiful gift? Was that actually a coincidence? Or were you being guided? Take a moment and feel that right now, because it's so beautiful when you realize that life is always happening for you, not to you. Even the problems, they're gifts because they lead to a more elevated version of you. So take a moment and breathe that coincidence into your heart right now, feeling so grateful. Breathe it in. Now try to well all this up, like feel all these memories stacking on top of each other. See your heart beating 100,000 times a day. Feel that first memory, that second memory, that coincidence. Stack it all on top of your heart, breathing deep into your heart, appreciating it. Try to double and even triple the amount of appreciation and love and gratitude that you have for this amazing gift of life, and feel that energy just kind of circulating throughout your body right now, just extending in every single direction. Just feel it through your arms, your legs, every direction, just so much energy, so much aliveness, so much gratitude. And when you're there, you feel it, just say thank you. Just appreciate it, just love it, just cherish it. Two of the most powerful words you can ever use are thank you. And take that in and appreciate it. And just feel so much gratitude, so much appreciation for the fact that you even have this gift of life for a moment. And from this state, in this beautiful state, from your heart, not your head, from your heart, remember that stressor that you totally forgot about? It's like I said, it's impossible to feel pain when you're grateful. Go back to that stressor. Go back to that stressor. And from your heart, ask your heart to complete the following sentence in your own heart right now. In this stressful situation, all I need to remember is blank. In this stressful situation, all I need to do is blank. In this situation, all I need to say is blank. And feel it and just ask your heart for direction during a challenging time. And when you feel like you have some sort of guidance, some sort of direction, some sort of, it's going to be okay. Go ahead and open your eyes and come back on camera. How many of you guys felt something very, very real from that exercise? By the way, that's who you really are. That's the real you. That's the you that isn't dominated by fear or doubt or anything. That is the person that can change anything in his or her life at any moment. Because most people go through life trying to stay safe, not being who they really are. You have one chance, but your clock on life, that's ticking. And at any moment it could run out. You do not control the length of your life, but you do control its depth and its meaning. You were not put here to experience mediocrity. You are meant to feel fully alive, who you really are. You just felt that a second ago, every second of every day. And I can teach you how to do that because we barely scratched the surface tonight. You're exactly where you need to be right now to learn what you need to learn, to live the life you're meant to live. Instead of knowing that, all you have to do to radically change your world is make this part of who you are. And when you do, game over. Can you imagine how the world would change if you felt this way on a regular basis and didn't need a team call to do it? If it wasn't a team call, they got pumped up about for a couple days and then back to old habits. What if this was your default setting? If that's something that you feel could truly benefit your life, I'd love to share just for 2-3 minutes about an opportunity Nicole and I have put together for you to learn how to do that. Okay, so like I said, we barely scratched the surface, and no pressure here whatsoever, guys. If this isn't for you, that's cool. But if you were here tonight, we barely touched on so many things that are holding so many people back. Inner conflict, forgiveness, limiting beliefs on such a barely top level tonight. If you've been pushing so hard for a goal and it's getting further and further away from you, or it seems like it's so much easier for other people and you keep hearing, just keep doing the behaviors, but for some reason it's not happening, and you have all these trainings showing you strategy. It's not the strategy that's the problem. It's this and this. It's believing in yourself enough to make that happen. It's getting out of your own damn way. If some days you're super motivated, then some days you can't get off the couch and you can't figure out what's stopping you from success, but most importantly, happiness. I've created an online course that has served over 500 Beachbody coaches in this exact topic, and it will break you through all of it, and I mean all of it, from the highest of elite coaches to brand new coaches. They are involved. The reason you feel stuck is inner conflict that needs to be resolved. I know this because I lived it. Lack of worth, negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, forgiveness, resentment, all of it. You hear the cliche, change your thinking, change your life. This teaches you how. It teaches you how to be happy, how to attract success instead of repel it. And because your leader is amazing, we're going to give you guys a 50% discount on this program for the next couple of days. 50% discount on this, and that will increase based on the number of people that enroll. And that's for a payment plan or full pay option if this is for you. And by the way, if things are tight right now, I can totally respect that. If things are tight, that's exactly why you need to learn a new way of thinking. Because you cannot change your existing life from the mindset that got you to your current life. It's impossible. Darren Hardy taught me that in my very first personal development book, The Compound Effect, and his Darren Daily. And I've been living it ever since. And that's why I have a 90-day guarantee on the program. You guys know who Jen Richardson is, 15-star Diamond Coach Million Club member? She says, and I quote, Appreciation Academy is the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs to finally see success. You guys know who Micah Folsom is, double 15-star Diamond Coach Million Club member? Says, and I quote, if you're doing all the things and you don't know why you can't break through, or if you're successful but you're just not happy, you absolutely must invest in this program. So I can go on and on with testimonials. It's endorsed by the top of the top in Beachbody, but this will affect every part of your life. It's not just business. This is marriage, business, bank account, happiness, fun, everything. It rips away the layers of pain preventing you from who you're meant to be. It's not a business training. That stuff doesn't work until you master this and this. This gets to the core of what's stopping you. It teaches you how to actually believe in yourself, how to silence the inner demons, and how to live every day with an actual smile on your face that you don't have to fake. And I will not disappear on you. I will not betray your trust. Just like we talked about, guys, business and success will not bring you happiness. Happiness brings you success. This is the only course I've ever seen that teaches you how to be happy, because happiness is the prerequisite to success. It's how I went from stuck in my life to where I am now. It's 7 years of insane growth packed together, so you don't need to wait that long. So if you felt something real, if you've been living in a memory that says you're not enough, it's time we break through that. I broke through it, and I will teach you how. So if this is something you're interested in, all you have to do is head to bradbizjack.com/team-call. Again, bradbizjack.com/team-call. Nicole's going to post an image and the link in your team page right when we hop off here. There's a little opt-in form that will help me keep track of what team you're on, so I know what discount at the end of the promotional period is appropriate. But again, that's bradbizjack.com/team-call. You opt in, the next page has the sales page, all this, the pricing, all that information, and 50% will be automatically taken off at checkout. So guys, either way, thank you so much for the privilege of serving you guys tonight. It was an honor to be here. And I truly hope that you took something away from this. And I truly hope that you invest in Appreciation Academy. It is worth every moment you spend in that course. So Nicole, thank you so much for your time, and I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Brad. That was awesome. I hope you guys got so much out of that. Um, yes, I'm excited to check it out. Haven't had time yet to go check it out, so I am excited to go ahead and do that. I learned early on in this career that it's important for you to invest in your personal development and for you to invest in yourself. I think Brian Tracy says something like you should be putting 10% of your business back into yourself, and then the return is like a 30% ROI or some, I don't know if those are the exact numbers, but I think that's what it is. So I highly recommend that we kind of chat about this, look this over the next few days, see how many of us can kind of get going on this and see what we can get for a discount and kind of do this all together. Because doing personal development courses like this do make a difference. The books are great. But the action of someone telling you what to do is huge. So for sure, I will post this as soon as we get off here. I will post the stuff that Brad gave me earlier, and then we can definitely look it over tonight, tomorrow, and just kind of see what we're thinking. And yeah, so we'll check it out. And so Brad said, the sign up at 50% off and any increased discount will be given as a refund at the end. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So thank you, Brad, for this amazing call tonight. Great takeaways, great stuff. And we are excited to take a look at your course and see if you can help us, because we all need help, right? Even if we're successful, we all need help in shifting our mindset. There's definitely been times that I still question what I'm doing and what's happening here 9 years later. So it's all good. And so thank you again. And we are excited to go ahead and check that out. But we truly appreciate your time this evening. Took 3 pages of notes here. So I am ready to implement gratitude genuinely. Yes. All right. Thanks, Brad, for your time. Good night, everybody.